Lyman Good, an outstanding champ, but the winner of this match, you know, like I said, they've emerged from what I think is the most talented division in all of Bellator. Dan Hornbuckle, well-rounded, dangerous on the feet and from his back. Ben Askren, you know what he's going to do. He's the wrestler. He wants to come in and take this fight to the ground.
Dan Hornbuckle gains great inspiration in his MMA career from his Native American heritage. For Hornbuckle, inspiration as well as motivation also comes from being a father, husband, and son.
Fighting is quite a spiritual event for me.
Dan Hornbuckle stepped into the cage 4 years ago and has since compiled a record of 21-2 with 9 submissions and 9 knockouts. The MMA world has taken notice, but his biggest fans are at home.
Knowing that 3 daughters are at home, relying on you to stay safe, not to win. You know, they think I'm invincible, but I have to explain to them I'm not.
Hey kids, I love you. Lexi, Ryan, and Michaela, Daddy loves you.
They're the motivating factor, why I go to training twice a day, 3 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. I always think about it right before I go into the cage, because without knowing what you're fighting for, you're kind of just a prize fighter.
For Hornbuckle, the drive and determination that he carries with him in and out of the ring comes from his own father. Growing up a Native American wasn't easy and taught him difficult lessons that remain with him today.
My father was definitely the biggest impact on my fighting career. The one that taught me how to box, taught me how to wrestle, taught me how to be tough. And not just a physical toughness, but a mental toughness. And not a lot of parents take the time to teach their children these qualities. That's my dad's bolo that he made. And after he died, that was the only item that I wanted, because it reminded me of him. He's protecting my heart.
Hornbuckle now stands on the edge of stardom, but to achieve it, he must defeat Olympic wrestler Ben Askren.
Better bring a lot more than an Olympic caliber game. Bro, you ain't fighting me. You're fighting an entire reservation fighting behind me. Ancestors, family, pride of Native Americans. Now you're fighting an entire reservation that's empowered into one human being at one time. You ain't touching me. You ain't touching me.
Dan Hornbuckle defeated Tyler Stinson by first-round submission in the quarterfinals, and then defeated Steve Carl by first-round submission in the semifinals to reach Bellator's second season welterweight tournament championship.
Total free spirit, almost a hippie. He's the least.
Ben Askren has had a truly stunning career in wrestling, reaching 4 NCAA Division I finals and winning 2 while at the University of Missouri, and then representing the United States at the 2008 Summer Olympics. The goal for Askren is now to bring that success into his new sport.
I feel like everyone in MMA gives me respect from the wrestling. I'm not fighting to be respected. I'm fighting to see how far I can go. I plan on taking Dan Hornbuckle down and submitting him in the first round.
In 2008, Ben Askren, a 2-time NCAA wrestling champion at the University of Missouri, realized his lifelong dream, representing his country in the Summer Olympics in Beijing as a member of the United States Olympic wrestling team.
You know, it was just an amazing feeling, like knowing you actually did something that you've been working 9-10 years for. Wrestling, it was a passion. It wasn't something I did 4 days a week. It wasn't something I did during the winter. From the time I was 15 to the time I made the Olympic team, it was year-round, almost every day.
Now, Askren has a new dream to establish himself as one of the best MMA fighters in the world. Undefeated 5 fights into his new career, he's using his wrestling expertise to lay the foundation for a championship run with a little extra help in his corner.
I do get really nervous about 5 minutes before and when it's happening. I am nervous when they're on their feet, when I'm just praying in my head, take them down, get to the ground. Once they're on the ground, I kind of lose that nerves because I know that's where Ben's comfortable.
My wife is very sweet. We just got married. It was April 9th. And she travels with me pretty much everywhere. And you know, that's the way we like it. We really enjoy each other's company. She likes the bungee jumping and jumping out of planes and paragliding and all that crazy stuff that I don't really, I'll watch her do it, but I don't really want to do it that much.
He is just a total free spirit, almost a hippie. He's the least materialistic person you'll ever meet. Just, you know, he loves disc golf.
Oh, right over the hill. Oh, that was a good shot. I like disc golf because it's relaxing. It's the opposite of wrestling and mixed martial arts. There it is. Put that one on the TV.
Oh no!
Back to the woods.
He'll stay back with me, and he'll like coach me, and I'll go chase all my discs that I throw in lakes and forests. So, kind of a sweet side of him, really. I missed it!
But for now, disc golf will have to wait, because tonight, Askren faces the single biggest challenge of his MMA career.
It's bound to be a barn-burning fight, you know, where we're not standing around looking at each other for the first minute and a half of the round. I'm gonna walk across the cage and he's gonna try to hit me and I'm gonna try to put him on his back.
Ben Askren defeated Ryan Thomas by first-round technical submission in the quarterfinals. Thomas was then given another chance in Bellator due to the controversial nature of that fight's finish. The two rematched in the semifinals, and Askren defeated Thomas by unanimous decision to reach Bellator's second season welterweight tournament championship.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your first welterweight tournament finalist fighting tonight out of the red corner. This is Dan the Handler Hornbuckle.
There you see Dan Hornbuckle. 23 pro MMA fights, 21 victories. He told us, Jimmy, in our fighter meeting 2 days ago, I want to crush the will of Ben Askren. Says that he has really been focusing in Coconut Creek, Florida, working with American Top Team on defending Askren's takedown, working with a lot of high-level wrestlers.
Well, he thinks if he can prevent a takedown in the opening minutes, get Askren a little frustrated, get him off his game, that's his key to victory. I agree, Sean.
And now, his opponent fighting tonight out of the blue corner, the fighter out of the University of Missouri. This is Ben Askren.
Ben Askren is currently the Director of Operations for the wrestling team at Arizona State University. But to this Kansas City crowd, he is still very much an MU target.
He certainly is. He's a legend. Like I said, probably the best wrestler in the history of the University of Missouri. And this crowd is way behind him. I'm surprised Dan Hornbuckle got all the love he did getting into the cage. This crowd way behind Ben Askren.
The MU campus, located in Columbia, Missouri, about 125 miles east of our location in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Askren's wife, Amy, is from suburban KC in Overland Park. Between friends and family, Askren has about 200 supporters here at the Power and Light District tonight.
Let's see what kind of difference that makes.
Jimmy, let's take a look at your inner circle.
Well, look for Askren to stick to the script. That's what he has to do. He's going to try and take Hornbuckle down and do everything he can to keep him there. Which strategy will Hornbuckle follow? He's been successful so far from his back. Will he accept a ground battle, or will he try to stay standing? How will the crowd affect the fight? When it comes to standing a fight up, refs often respond to the crowd's reaction. As long as Askren is on top, this crowd will be going nuts. Will that be a factor?
This bout is under the unified rules of combat. It is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Elbows to the head are allowed, and there is no kicking or kneeing the head of a grounded opponent. With the official introductions to Bellator's welterweight tournament championship, we send it back to Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, from KC live here at Kansas City Power and Light District, Bellator Fighting Championships, along with Everlast and UB.net. Raise, stack, own. Tonight here at Bellator 22. Now go inside the cage for 3 5-minute rounds for the Bellator Season 2 Welterweight Tournament Championship. And now introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the red trimmed in black at 6'2". He weighed in at 170 pounds even. The freestyle fighter tonight enters the Bellator cage with an outstanding professional record of 21 victories, 9 by knockout, 9 by way of submission against only 2 defeats. Training out of American Top Team and representing the Eastern Band Cherokee Tribe from Cherokee, North Carolina, introducing Dan the Handler Hornbuckle. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the black trimmed in red. At 5'11", he weighed in the same 170 pounds even. The two-time NCAA Division I champion and Olympic wrestler tonight enters the finals undefeated as a mixed martial artist at 5-0. One victory by knockout, 3 by way of submission. Out of the University of Missouri, now representing Lions Den, Scottsdale, and fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, presenting the 2008 U.S. Olympian, Ben Askren. Inside the cage, the referee for this contest, Jason Herzog.
Fighters are already gone over the rules in the back there. No final questions from you, Blue. No final questions from you, Red. Touch gloves, come out ready to fight.
Ben Askren's wife, Amy, she is watching cage side. Dan Hornbuckle's wife, Melody, actually has a license. She is in her husband's corner. This Bellator season number 2 welterweight tournament championship, the bell in round number 1.
Dan Hornbuckle refusing to touch gloves with Ben Askren. I have not seen that before.
Hornbuckle in the red trunks, Askren
good
in the black
uppercut.
trunks. Jason Herzog is the referee. Hammer fist by Hornbuckle. Askren committed to that single leg. And a trip by Askren. Huge ovation from this crowd in Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, that's what an Olympic wrestler does. They go after it. They don't let it go. They stay on it. And he's got that right knee in between. Good guard pass posture by Ben Askren.
Hornbuckle told us emphatically that he was focused on keeping this fight standing for the opening 2 minutes. But yet it's Askren with the takedown and now throwing the elbow.
Well, emphatic, but it's not that surprising. Askren knows what he does well. What he does well is wrestle.
Slick from Dan Hornbuckle there. Hornbuckle, if you've been following us this season at Bellator, you know he has great submissions from the bottom.
Trying to isolate the arm, but hips aren't. Oh, now going for the Kimura.
Hornbuckle looking for the Kimura. Askren, no worries there.
Askren has outstanding front chokes. That's going to be an important factor. If he gets in the front, he has great guillotine.
Big shots there from Ben Askren. This crowd absolutely electric.
Man, I'm really impressed with Askren's movement in this fight. Hasn't settled down, hasn't really allowed Dan Hornbuckle to get guard, has been moved around him really this entire time.
Those are big knees by Askren. Into the hip, into the elbow, into the bicep of Dan Hornbuckle.
You know, they're not the kind of strikes that stop a fight, but man, do they wear you out. Those big knees to the thigh, to the leg. Later on in the fight, you feel those, Sean.
Another big knee by Askren. Askren trying to get one hook in. So much is made of Askren's wrestling, and rightly so. He does hold the rank of purple belt in BJJ. Hornbuckle with American Top Team, obviously incredibly skillful on the ground.
Well, he said in the last fight against Ryan Thomas, he lost a lot of good positions.
Ground and pound, looking there from Ben Askren.
And he said he's worked on that a lot, keeping position, and he's doing a much better job in this fight.
Hornbuckle trying to close the distance.
Not going for the armbar.
Hornbuckle, one of the most active fighters on his back in all of Bellator, maybe in all of MMA.
Man, Askren not only with the takedown, but so aggressive in passing the guard. Very fluid, using great movement.
Fluid, that is the word here in round number 1. Well said, Jimmy. Hornbuckle trying to get back to his feet.
You know, what kind of was a weakness against Ryan Thomas, the fact that he would get good positions and lose them, is turning into a strength against Dan Hornbuckle. He's moving very well. He's all over Dan Hornbuckle, angling very well. Now trying to take the back.
Askren trying to get the back of Dan Hornbuckle, letting go with 2 big right hands to the head. Now a hammer fist. Now working the bottom. Hornbuckle exploding to his feet.
None of them huge shots, but they do damage.
Modified belly to back there by Askren. Couldn't quite pull it off.
Now going for the head nod choke. Wow, very tight, going for the head and arm, trying to get to mount. Hornbuckle trying to scramble here, but man, giving up full mount. Ben Askren just all over Dan Hornbuckle in this first round.
Askren in full mount. Hornbuckle trying to shrimp, trying to move.
Now you see here, unlike the Thomas fight, much more relaxed. He said he's been working on his low mount. That's when your hips are over the other guy's hips, not necessarily that high. It's a good position to hold a guy down, and right now he's holding down Dan Hornbuckle very well.
Final minute of our opening round. This for Bellator season number 2 welterweight tournament championship. Hornbuckle trying to throw off his back and gets to his feet. Askren going for the single leg and gets it. What explosion.
Man, Hornbuckle's waiting a little too long. Didn't back up, so he had to stand up and didn't commit to being on top. Against a grappler like Hornbuckle, you cannot do that. Going for the toe hold.
Big shot from the top there by Askren. Shots from the bottom by Dan Hornbuckle. Fantastic opening round. We're headed to round number 2. Round number 2. This is Bellator's second season welterweight tournament final. Dan Hornbuckle in the red trunks, Ben Askren in the black trunks. 3 judges scoring cage side here in Kansas City for the state of Missouri. Jimmy, you have the unofficial card.
But you got to give that one 10-9 to Ben Askren. He was just all over Hornbuckle. Didn't do enough damage, I think, to warrant a 10-8, but man, a dominant first round by Ben Askren.
Another takedown by the 2008 Olympian in freestyle wrestling.
You know what? In wrestling, even when he was wrestling at Missouri, they called him Funky Ben Askren. Weird takedown, single leg, come out the back door. Nothing orthodox about him. Same thing for his MMA and his jiu-jitsu game. Funky, unorthodox, same kind of style in MMA, and so far it is working, Sean.
Hornbuckle was cut in round number 1, bleeding above his right eyebrow. The blood may start to flow again here in round number 2. Excellent job in this bout by the referee, Jason Herzog. He's hardly in frame, letting this fight flow.
Wow, good reversal by Dan Hornbuckle. What can he do on top against the wrestler? Askren told me, he says, I'm comfortable from my back. I've been working a lot of jiu-jitsu. Can he get something done from his back, or will he try and stand up again?
Hornbuckle fishing for an ankle lock. Askren is so tight. Right hand and 2 back fists. See Askren continuing to throw off of that left knee, posturing out. Good side control there by Askren, trying to get a hook in.
Just so incredibly tight. It's like his chest is glued to Dan Hornbuckle's back. Hornbuckle can't get any space to work his game. I like the way that knee, the right knee of Ben Askren, always sliding through. Does not allow Dan Hornbuckle to get closed guard. That's when he's been effective so far in his first 2 fights, was in closed guard.
Hornbuckle is giving his back. Askren is not taking it. Just throwing punches, now elbows to the body. Warning from referee Jason Herzog, elbow to the spine by Askren.
I think Askren, has kind of figured out the system. He moves around. He doesn't try to hold on to one position for very long. He's depending on his mobility. I think it's a good strategy.
The cut above the right eyebrow of Dan Hornbuckle has opened back up here in round number 2. Again, the takedown by Askren.
Man, every time.
Good uptick there by Hornbuckle.
Every time Ben Askren has gotten in on a takedown, he has finished. It hasn't even been close. Now
triangle! There's the triangle, and Hornbuckle's looking to finish, and he lost it. First real submission attempt by Dan Hornbuckle, and he lost it on the triangle.
Now, going for an inverted triangle is Ben Askren, but doesn't have an arm, and they're really just a head scissor, Sean.
That is really all it is. Head scissors held by Ben Askren. Tight, a lot of pressure. Then the pressure released. Inside control for the 2008 U.S. Olympian Ben Askren. Jimmy, are you surprised at what we're seeing thus far?
Wow, I'm surprised at the ground dominance and the ease of transition of Ben Askren. You know, the only thing we really had to base it on was the Ryan Thomas fight where he had trouble holding positions, but with this, he's not trying to hold anything. He's moving around very, very fluidly, and Dan Hornbuckle doesn't really seem to have an answer for this kind of game. I am really impressed, Sean.
Elbow again to the back. Askren continuing to throw the right hands from this position.
Now, everyone who's trained with Ben Askren has told me the guy can grapple for an hour. He just has that kind of ability. Having wrestled his whole life, he does not get tired while he's grappling, so you see his pace hasn't really slowed this entire time.
Askren told us in our fighter meetings, I have wrestler's strength. I'm not weightlifting strong, but I can hold a grip for minutes upon minutes upon minutes.
If you've grappled with guys like, you know, Ben Askren, or even MMA, Antonio McKee, guys have wrestled their whole lives, their grip is like iron. And man, you can see here, if there were any space, Dan Hornbuckle would be getting up, and there isn't. That grip is iron strong.
Askren again letting go with the punches.
You know, Dan Hornbuckle told us in the interview the only way he's going to beat me is lay and pray. That is the exact opposite of what Ben Askren is doing. He's moving around, very, very active.
9 seconds of round number 2. We are headed to a third and final round. Third and final round. This is Bellator's end of the Season 2 welterweight tournament. This is the championship. Dan Hornbuckle is in the red trunks, throwing the head kick and missing. Ben Askren, the 2-time NCAA Division I wrestling champion from the University of Missouri and 2008 U.S. Olympian with the takedown, is in the black trunks. Jimmy, how do you have this score through the opening 2 rounds?
You gotta have it 2 rounds to none for Ben Askren. Really, the only question is, are they 10-9 or 10-8 rounds? Because he has been dominant from start to finish.
So you think Hornbuckle needs a knockout or a submission to win this fight?
That's it. Gotta finish him or he's gonna lose. That's simple.
You see the cut above the right brow of Dan Hornbuckle. That was opened up in the first round. Bellator has the 2 best cut men in the sport, so it's not an issue.
Now, sharp ground and pound by Ben Askren.
Close guard, rare close guard by Hornbuckle.
That's what he hasn't been able to get this whole fight, is closed guard to work his submissions. Ben Askren has had that knee through every single time. It's really the first time he's had closed guard.
Hornbuckle found the 1 triangle. That was in round number 2. And as quick as he got it, he lost it. Askren continuing to throw. Trying to step over.
You know, that's another thing. Dan Hornbuckle said, I've been working with great wrestlers, American Top Team. There's great and then there's great. You know, there just aren't very many Olympians to work with, you know, in your training camp to get you ready. There aren't many guys on that level anywhere in the world.
Hornbuckle going for a Kimura.
He will not get that if he doesn't have guard. Askren has already passed his guard. There's no way that the Kimura might work as a sweep, and there it is now.
Has it figured forward, and that is tight. Hornbuckle looking to finish.
He has lost it. He's not going to get the Kimura. So see if he can transition to something else.
Second real submission attempt of this fight for Hornbuckle.
But Askren so good at scrambling out of these positions. Looks like he's going to do it again, Sean. And he does. Once again on top.
A very pro Ben Askren crowd, but they're appreciating this fight, Jimmy. Elbow to the body by Askren. Right to the head.
Well, in this fight so far, Ben Askren has gone from, you know, talented prospect to world class. This is an amazing performance, Sean.
Jimmy, you said that you think Askren is maybe the best pure wrestler ever to transition into MMA. Askren letting go with the punches. Hornbuckle throwing the elbow from the bottom.
Yeah, and also, Dan Hornbuckle has to be fatigued. He's been carrying Ben Askren's weight for 15 minutes almost now.
As you can tell, we are outside tonight in Kansas City. It is hot, it is humid, at about 15 degrees because of the cage lights above. Very, very hot inside the Bellator cage. Hornbuckle trying to establish wrist control. Askren missing with that left. Throwing the right.
You can just see by the body posture of Dan Hornbuckle, he can't figure out the little. Every time he moves, you know, Ben Askren is a step ahead of him.
Hornbuckle trying to get to his feet. Askren having none of it. Askren again with the right. Another right hand. Not big punches, constant punches.
True, I don't think Dan Hornbuckle's been hurt this entire time. I think it's just you know, the death of 1,000 cuts. He's been on him the whole time. Not landing huge shots, but doing enough, man, to not only keep it on the ground, but keep Dan Hornbuckle disoriented, keep him on the defensive. Best way to describe this fight.
Into the 15th and final minute of this bout. This for Bellator's welterweight tournament championship. Dan Hornbuckle versus Ben Askren. Seems as though this will be in the hands of the 3 state of Missouri judges sitting cage side. We're not to the final bell yet.
Man, just complete and total dominance by Ben Askren. Wow, unbelievable, unbelievable. He has really earned his spot. He's earned his shot against Lyman Good. Outstanding performance.
You hear the ovation, and there's the bell. The end of the fight.
What can you say? Dominance for 15 minutes by Ben Askren. Took on the heavily favored Dan Hornbuckle. And man, Dan Hornbuckle didn't have a single second of victory in that fight. Love Dan Hornbuckle, hate to say it, but Ben Askren really earned the victory.
You just saw Ben Askren's wife, Amy, all smiles. And that's a disappointed look from Dan Hornbuckle.
You know, Hornbuckle looks totally worn out. And it was just, you know, Ben Askren's kind of fight from the beginning. Took advantage of his grappling strengths, and Dan Hornbuckle looking for answers the entire time. Let's take a look at that 3rd round. Ben Askren not only great with his movement, his jiu-jitsu, but his ground and pound. There it is. He controlled the left hand of Hornbuckle and landing very clean right hands, hammer fists, overhand rights. Boom, right on the jaw. Great job by Ben Askren, controlling and attacking at the same time. Dan Hornbuckle looking for an answer. You see here, the Kimura to the sweep right here, but man, that grappling ability of Ben Askren, able to squeak out of the smallest little hole, and every time Dan Hornbuckle went for something, Ben Askren was ahead of him.
When we return, we will learn the victor of this fight. Dan Hornbuckle versus Ben Askren for the welterweight tournament championship. At stake, Bellator's 2nd season welterweight tournament championship, a check for $100,000, and a date in season 3 to face Lyman Good, who is Bellator's 170-pound world champion for his belt. To end all suspense, we send it to Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance inside the Bellator cage, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges, Jerry Griffin, Brett Miller, and Jackson Harper, all scored the bout exactly the same at 30-27. All for the winner by unanimous decision. And now, the Bellator Season 2 welterweight tournament champion, Ben Askren.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Ben Askren. Ben, if you had scripted this fight before you fought it, is this how it would have gone?
I pretty much told all you guys what I was going to do. A few of you were smart enough to listen to me. A bunch of you doubted me, and you know, you'll learn not to do that soon enough. Shame on you.
Now, you said the hometown crowd didn't matter. You're fighting Dan Hornbuckle. Did it charge you up having all these people cheer for you?
You know, it was nice, and I'm happy to do my thing in front of them, but shoot, if we were fighting on the grass in the front yard, it'd be the same thing.
Check out the screen right here. Walk us through that first round. You came out very strong.
Yeah, he hit me with these few punches, and then I got the takedown. He almost kicked out, but I knew it was important to get on top earlier, and he hit me pretty hard there, but you know, it didn't change the topic of the fight. And you know, I went for submission attempts, close on a couple arm triangles, but didn't finish. But you know, I thought my ground and pound was much improved from last time.
Now, this earns you a shot at welterweight champion Lyman Good. Have any message for him?
Lyman, keep my belt warm, shine it once a week, and enjoy it while you got it, because it's mine, baby.
All right, here is Bellator founder Bjorn Rudney. Bjorn, what do you have to say to Ben Askren?
I got to say, hey, Ben Askren, you did exactly what you said you were going to do. You are the real deal, brother. Next up, Lyman Good. Congratulations.
Your Season 2 welterweight champion, Ben Askren, ladies and gentlemen.